Hello everyone, this is Purushottam Vishwakarma and I welcome you to this new lesson Rise of Nationalism in Europe Part 1. In this video, we'll cover the definition of nationalism and French Revolution along with the idea of the nation. So let's begin the chapter. The very first scene that you see in your book is of a picture printed by prepared by Frederic Soriot. Frederic Soriot was a French artist and who printed four prints. One of them is this. This is the first one, and in this picture you can see Statue of Liberty with a torch light, and there are many flags as you can see in the picture. There are many European flags and they are trailing, they are coming under one statue, that is Statue of Liberty. If I tell you more about this picture, the dream of worldwide democratic and social republics, the pact between nations. So it was a pact, it was a treaty between nations. All those European nations came together. A print prepared by Frederick Soriot. In which year? In the year 1848. So you have to prepare. These four prints came into existence in the year 1848. Who prepared these pictures? Frederick Soriot. As it is written here, in 1848, Frederick Soriot, a French artist, as I have told you, Frederick Soriot was a French artist, prepared a series of four prints, visualizing his dream of a world made of democratic and social republic. If you remember, you have already studied in class ninth about the situation of France before 1789 when French Revolution started. So there was a great demand of democracy. So he visualized. Who visualized? Frederick Soriot visualized in the year 1848 four prints: democratic and social republic, as he called them. What he called those pictures? Democratic and social republic. Artist of the time of the French Revolution personified liberty as a female figure. According to Soriot, utopian vision, a new word, utopian vision, utopian where everyone is living peacefully, a situation that is imaginary situation that cannot be practically true. According to Soriot's utopian vision, the peoples of the world are grouped as distinct nations. They are grouped as distinct nations identified through their flags, as I have shown you in the picture. These can be identified through their flags. There are different flags. As I have shown you in the picture, they can be identified easily through their flags and national costume. In this chapter, we'll discuss about the issues portrayed by Frederick Soriot. During the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. During the 19th century, from 1801 to 1900, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. People changed their minds politically, they changed themselves. There was an emergence of new era. The end result of these changes was emergence of the nation state. And result of these changes, these mental and political changes, resulted in the emergence of nation state in the place of the multinational dynastic empires of Europe. There were many nations. Now they came together under one statue of liberty, and there was the emergence of nation state. How do you define nationalism? Nationalism is a situation when all the people belonging to each and every corner of the country come together and form a single interest. They have a single purpose, they have a single flag. A modern state in which a centralized power exercises sovereign control over a clearly defined territory had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. Before that, what was there? A modern state in which a centralized power was there. Feudal system that had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. But a nation state was one in which the majority of its citizens, and not only its rulers, came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history or descent. So, all those people belonging to Europe came together, shared a common identity and history as well as descent. In this chapter, we'll basically focus at the diverse processes through which nation states and nationalism came into being in 19th century Europe. So we are basically going to learn about nationalism and how it came into 19th century Europe. Now the most important and very first heading in this chapter, the French Revolution and the idea of the nation. You all know very well, you have already studied in class 9th. French Revolution. I would like to remind you, it started in 1789 on 14th July. At that time, there was the king Louis XVI who introduced new taxes. That is why people opposed and betrayed the king. The first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. The political and constitutional changes that came in the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of French citizens. If you remember Frankfurt Parliament, the ideas of la patrie, the fatherland, and le citoyen, the citizen. Fatherland, the country, and le citoyen, as we have motherland, they have fatherland, la patrie, and le citoyen. You can be asked such questions. What do you mean by la patrie? What do you mean by le citoyen? Emphasize the notion of a united community. It emphasized a notion, a desire of a united community enjoying equal rights. So it emerged among people a desire of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. They wanted a constitution. The Estates General was elected by the body of the active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. National Assembly was renamed. Estates General was elected by the body of active citizens. All these things happened during French Revolution. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished. You have already studied about it. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished, and a uniform system of weighs and measures was adopted. The revolutionaries further declared that it was the mission and the destiny of the French nation to liberate the peoples of Europe from despotism. They wanted to liberate themselves from despotic power, from feudal system. Students and other members of educated middle classes began setting up Jacobin Club. You have already studied about Jacobin Club in class ninth standard. Their activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies which moved into Holland, Belgium, Switzerland and much of Italy in the 1790s, just after French Revolution. They started moving to other countries as well and spreading their views in the countries like Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and Italy. The French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. As I told you, they started moving abroad as well, and they carried their idea of nationalism, their collective identity, to other nations as well, other countries as well. They moved to other countries and spread their collective identity in other countries. That is also known as nationalism. Through a return of monarchy, then came once again in 1799. Who came? Who became the king? Napoleon Bonaparte. Through a return of monarchy, Napoleon had no doubt destroyed democracy in France. But in the administrative field, he had incorporated revolutionary principles in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. Although he came to France and established monarchy, but there were many revolutionary changes in the system of administration. He changed the complete system of administration. So, some rules implied by him were very good as well. Now, the most important in this part, the Civil Code of 1804, usually known as the Napoleonic Code. Civil Code, Napoleonic Code, very important topic. Usually known as the Napoleonic Code. In which year it came into existence? 1804. Did away with all privileges based on birth. You have to mention all these things. Did away with all privileges. All those privileges which were enjoyed based on birth, abolished. Established equality before the law. It 1804, Civil Code of 1804 established equality before the law. Everyone would be equal before law and secure the right to property. They will have a right to property. Napoleon simplified administrative divisions, abolished the feudal system that was there before 1799, and freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. They were given rebate, they were exempted of old dues. Manorial, those who were in power, those who were belonging to royal family. Actually, manor means a big house. Transport and communication systems were improved during the era of Napoleon Bonaparte. Transport and communication systems were improved. Businessmen and small scale producers of goods in particular began to realize that uniform laws, he introduced uniform laws laws equal for everyone. In particular, began to realize that uniform laws, standardized weights and measures, and a common national currency would facilitate the movement and exchange of goods and capital from one region to another. So it facilitated most of the traders and people of France. In many places such as Holland, Switzerland, Brussels, Mainz, Milan, Warsaw, the French armies were welcomed as harbingers of liberty. It became clear that the new administrative arrangements did not go hand in hand with political freedom. So it became clear that the new administrative arrangements did not go hand in hand with political freedom. If they had political freedom, it will not go hand in hand. That is why most of the people belonging to the army of Napoleon Bonaparte started rebel. Increased taxation, censorship, forced conscription into the French armies. This was the most important reason for a rebel, for revolution against Napoleon Bonaparte. Increased taxation, censorship, there was censorship, forced conscription, people were forced to join the army, required to conquer the rest of Europe because it was required to conquer rest of Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte wanted to conquer rest of Europe and wanted to mingle it into France. All seemed to outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. But all these things, increased taxation, censorship, forced recruitment into French armies, required to conquer rest of Europe, seemed to outweigh the advantages of administrative changes. So those changes which were there during the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte were now of no use. People started revolting against Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, there were some new words. First one, absolutist. Literally, a government or system of rule that has no restraints on the power exercised. No one is above them, they are whole and soul. In history, the term refers to a form of monarchical government that was centralized, militarized, and repressive. Next one, utopian, as I have told you, a vision of a society that is so ideal that it is unlikely to actually exist. It is not possible. And last one that we have, plebiscite. What is plebiscite? You can be asked such questions. A direct vote by which all the people of a region are asked to accept or reject a proposal. That's all in this video. Hope you understood the very first part of this video.